Our next lesson is on surface area and volume of cones. When we talk about the formulas for lateral area, surface area, and volume of a cone, the variables that will come up are R, which stands for the radius, H, which stands for the height, and L, which stands for the slant height. In our cone over here on the right, our first example, the radius we see at the bottom they've given us is 8 centimeters. H is the height. H would be the dotted line that's going vertical up and down. That'll be H right here, which we do not know yet. We'll figure that out here in just a minute. And then the slant height is new. The slant height is the one that leans on the side of the cone right there that I've highlighted in red, which is 17. So that will be the slant height. We use a cursive L to notate slant height. So the first thing we're going to find is the lateral area. The formula for lateral area of a cone is pi times r times L. So pi times the radius times the slant height. So if we plug what we know into that equation, we would simply say pi times r, which is 8, times L, which is 17. Throw all that in your calculator and you'll get 427.26. And that's going to be in centimeters squared. The formula for surface area is we take the lateral area we just found and we add on the area of the circle at the bottom, which is pi times r squared. So for surface area, we'll plug in for pi RL. We just found the lateral area on the question before that, so we can plug that in here as 427.26. And we'll add pi times r. Our radius was 8, so we'll plug that in right there, squared. Okay, when we plug all that in our calculator, just as it looks, you'll get 628.32 centimeters squared. Okay, before we move on to the volume, we need to figure out what the height of this cone is. Okay, we said that H is the dotted line that's going up and down. You'll notice that we have a right triangle over here on the left. You can use Pythagorean theorem, or you would know that this is a Pythagorean triple if you look at the triples chart. Alright, the chart looks like this. It has 8, 15, 17 on it. Well, we know that that last number has to be the hypotenuse, which is 17. 8 is the other leg, so that means our missing leg right here, the height of this cone would be 15. And that's going to help us here when we go find the volume. Okay, for volume, the formula for the volume of a cone is V equals 1/3 capital B little h. Okay, we know that capital B stands for the area of the base and H stands for the height. That's what we just found was 15 a second ago. Now, we need to figure out what's the area of the base. Well, what shape is the base of a cone? All right, in this case it would be a circle, right? So how do we find the area of a circle? We go back and look at our formula chart for the area of a circle. We know that it's pi r squared. So in this case, on our example that we just did, it would be pi times 8 squared. Which, if you put that in your calculator, would be 201.06. Okay, we already talked about it just a second ago, but how could we find the height? It would be a triple or a Pythagorean theorem. I'll just put that in this box right here since we've already discussed it. Okay, so now let's find the volume of this cone. We just figured out what our capital B was. We said that the capital B, the area of the base, was 201.06. So my volume formula would be 1/3 times 201 0.06 times the height, which we said was 15. So if we put all that in our calculator, we should get 1005.31. Our unit of measure was centimeters, so this is centimeters cubed for volume. Okay, let's move on to our next example. I've got the formulas written out here to the right for lateral area, surface area, and volume. So we're going to find those with this cone over here on the right. Alright, so it looks like my radius in this problem is going to be 7 right there. My height is going to be 24. But I don't know the slant height out here. I need to figure out what that is. This is another Pythagorean triple. Okay, 7, 24. If you look at the chart, that last number on the chart is 25. So my slant height is going to be 25. Now I can go over here and find the lateral area. Just plug those numbers in my formula. So my radius was 7. My slant height was 25. Now it tells me to leave my answers in terms of pi here. So remember, that means we're not going to put pi in the calculator. We're just simply going to multiply 7 by 25, which will give me 175. And then I'll put the pi symbol at the end. So my lateral area here is 175 pi, and that's in centimeters squared. For surface area, we just found the lateral area, so we can substitute that in for pi RL is 175 pi plus pi r squared. My radius we said was 7. Alright, 7 squared is 49, so this becomes 175 pi plus 49 pi. When I add 175 plus 49, I get 224. So my final answer for surface area, 224 pi centimeters squared. Okay, for volume, remember capital B stands for the area of the base. We have not found that yet. So in this case, I need to figure out what's capital B. I'll come down here to the bottom left and do that. Okay, remember the area formula for a square, or excuse me, a circle is pi r squared. Alright, so that would be pi times 7 squared, which is 49 pi. So let's substitute that in for capital B. My height, if we look at the picture of the cone, was 24. So now multiply 1/3 times 49 times 24, and you'll get 392. Leave pi on the end of your answer. So the volume, 392 pi centimeters cubed. Alright, that'll do it for surface area and volume of cones.